Dot. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Doing great. How are you?
It's good. I just cracked open my last beer. I had a protein bar and now a beer just to balance out whatever I'm trying to do.
Best diet there is. I love that.
Yeah, I started doing. I got the core. I don't know if you see like the Core Power protein shakes.
Yeah.
I get the vanilla, but I put fruity pebbles in it instead of milk. So like, I don't know if it's doing anything, but it's just a thought.
Why does that sound fire? I might have to try that.
It is. You don't even taste like. I don't know. It's delicious. It's like sweeter.
Oh man. I just got called a cocksucker by Steel, so I'm doing great.
Yeah, I don't.
Fired up,
He's
ready to attack the day.
he's got a 49-hour movie to watch, so he can't play.
Seems that way. Seems that way. I mean, I'm not gonna meme about it too much in case something like, something serious did
Yeah.
happen. But also, he can say that whenever he feels like it instead of making people guess.
Yeah, be like, hey guys, just something came up, or yeah,
Yeah. Just like personal issues. Like that everyone would get off your back if you just said like, personal stuff can't play. Because we get it.
yeah. Especially, I mean, people are like with their seating and things like that. There is some funky business going on, so like everyone's like automatically assumes, which
Mm-hmm.
makes sense because there is. Um, and then like especially someone that like just is out of the playoffs, so you know,
Yeah. It's tough not to like immediately assume the worst just because we've seen that so many times. Does I feel like Kamara's jukebox. Let me see who's in here real quick. I know Dan's doing his training for a couple more minutes, so it's still gonna be a little bit of training mode here from Lucky's perspective. Well, can't even see his in here yet. That's cool. But I'm just gonna ask you. Obviously, the Saints are well out of the playoff hunt, mostly trying to put on a show for the people and maybe crack some Buccaneers skulls while they're at it. But the Bucks do find themselves as champions of the NFC South. They will be the 4 seed. They're going to play either myself or Allen, depending on the results of our Week 18 games. I'm just going to ask, like, based on everything you've seen from Dan, and I don't know how much that is, obviously, but based on what you've seen from Dan, do you see him as a legitimate threat within the NFC to maybe make a Super Bowl run, or do you think it's still going to take another season or two?
it's so weird because Dan missing the first season, we're like a season behind on
Yeah,
anything Dan related.
yeah,
And for him to even be in this spot right now is pretty incredible because he pretty much sold off his whole team, cleared all his cap penalties without saying anything, and here he is. So I don't know if he can make a legit run, but I definitely know he can win any game, any game that pops up. So it's really hard to say. It's this will be a whoever he does play, whether it is you or Allen, this is good for you guys to kind of get a vision on kind of his play style. And the biggest thing people scout other people. The biggest thing you'll notice is in an important must-win game, everyone will run their best stuff. So you'll see
yes.
what he likes, and he's not going to run some garbage or something wonky. So you'll see the best that he's got to offer right now.
No, I would hope not. And Dan, honestly, like even if this weren't like a big game for him, even if he was locked into something, regardless, like he doesn't fuck around in games, to my knowledge. Like he'll run his best stuff every game and try to compete and try to win as many games as he possibly can. That's kind of his mindset. But it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, I did not at all think we would see Dan here as the champion of the NFC South. I thought, obviously, defending Super Bowl champion Ben, I thought he was gonna have a better kind of what's the term? A better, I guess, season after the Super Bowl than he did, and then I think Lucky has been a little disappointing as well. Tim obviously regressed heavy from what he did last season, so that's pretty disappointing. Overall, the rest of the division, other than Dan, I would say have had pretty disappointing seasons, all three of them. But you play who's on your schedule, you play against who you have in your division, and he finds himself here in the playoffs. And we all know, longtime barrel league users know, I'm sure, I mean, even guys who have not been here for as long who have just seen Dan play. Once it's playoff time, Dan can lock in with the best of them. So I'll be super excited as it looks like they're about to start.
Yeah, if Lucky has any chance in this game, his defense is going to have to play a little bit better than what I'm seeing in his practice mode. To your point before about running your best stuff, it's funny because how many times have you been in a game and you see something like a play, you're like, oh, I haven't ran this, or I'm not, and you're in the red zone or you're wherever, and it's always a pick. Like if you haven't done it and you're not comfortable with it, just don't do it. It's just like the number one rule.
The biggest mistake, I mean, I'm not going to say biggest mistake of my Madden career, that's dramatic, but a huge mistake I made is right before a divisional round game against Little Alex, and I think Madden 22, Madden 21, excuse me, I wasn't happy with how my offense had played, so I like completely changed out my playbook, like all new schemes, everything, and then I was like just absolute dog shit in the next game because I hadn't repped anything. Like I didn't know what my, it's a 3rd and 10, you need to throw a dot, what's your play? It's like you're in the red zone, what are your schemes? Just didn't have a sense of that, so I think it's good. I think it's good to have the mentality of just like getting as many reps with your preferred scheme as possible, but obviously, it's different than everyone. Not everyone goes 100% all out in every regular season game, which I get. That can lead to like burnout, and it can lead to more people, being able to scout what you like. But here we are, Saints v. Bucks, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida, in a rainy Tampa afternoon. Warren, I completely forgot to ask you how you doing.
Good, and since I'm the soon-to-be Tampa resident. The stadium's really deep. It's like literally like just smack dab in the middle of the city. You drive right by it, you can see like if you're looking at the field now, you can see the people in the stands. There's the background, the houses and things like that. That's not actually there. Since I know exactly all about Tampa, but it's a beautiful city.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see this the creamsicles versus the ugly gold pants matchup.
Yeah, two questionable uniforms on display here, but that is quite all right. McMullen and company will take the field for the last time this season at, I believe, 5-11. We'll see if he can make his way to 6-11. He will drop back corner route into coverage, but Chris Olave out of Ohio State able to come down with a contested catch to start things off.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of those. I mean, I just played against George Pickens, and I think the one-on-one ball is kind of back. So that's a situation there where didn't look like it was open, but it didn't matter.
Saw a lot of one-on-one balls in the Packers-Seahawks game that I commentated earlier as well, and a lot of seemingly elite DBs getting beat off the line in press coverage as Alvin Kamara with no type of room, and I do watch those tackle battles. We don't see as many tackle battle fumbles nowadays as we saw last Madden, but in a rain game, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Is Lucky making sure to correct me, saying 6 and 10, put some respect on my name. I'm sorry, Lucky, I disrespected you. 2nd and 14 as McMullen will once again drop back. 4-man rush does not get through. Look out, bad read, but 28, they're not able to come down with it on the overthrow.
I wonder if that's a rain thing. You have your timing down normally. In the rain, sometimes guys slip around a little bit, but that looks like a timing route, just a little earlier, just the weather impacted it.
I could absolutely believe that. I also think sometimes, like with the users, well, I'll say it after this play real quick, but I have a theory about overthrown balls, like when the user's right there, is we have a 3rd and 14, really interesting route scheme here. There's a lot going on, too much for my tiny brain to comprehend, but 4-man rush gets bagged up, let me shut up, because $3 got a block shot. As soon as I say that, he will get stopped. But I think sometimes, and maybe it's like a trait thing, or maybe it's just, high overall quarterbacks do this. Sometimes I think quarterbacks like intentionally overthrow balls or like miss routes when the user's right there, almost like saving you from yourself.
Oh, 1,000,000%. Yeah, I mean, there's times where you'll, click onto a screen, go to pick it off, and the ball just goes like in the dirt.
Yeah.
And that was a normal throw.
Oh my goodness, special teams playing an impact as Cook has the right side of the field open. Only one man to beat as he does not beat him. 39 able to track him down, but special teams playing an impact in Tampa as we see the horrifying pirate ship. Oh my goodness.
Number 39, the punter with the long hair and a full beard making the tackle. Who would have known?
A legend. Pat McAfee 2.0 as Morgan Rowe, the rook will drop back, take a corner out of his zone, and Taylor there to swat it away. Smart, in my opinion, to not go for the pick there.
Yeah, the clear out didn't really clear out what it was supposed to do. Something to note, the defense here is already tired. I don't know if he's just killing his guys in training, but this could be a factor early on.
I think as soon as Morgan Rowe's going to take off, I think stepped up a little too far compared to what he wanted. But I think once Lucky, and honestly, there's no reason not to do this. Like once Lucky was out of playoff contention, I think he just went full pad starters for everything because it's like you're out of the hunt. You might as well just dev guys because you don't really care about practice injuries at that point.
You punish your team too for not making the playoffs. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah, make him run suicides for an hour. That's It's not my bad reads, it's y'all's fault. 3rd and 4 as we have obvious cover 3 here as, again, Morgan Rowe. Probably the second best rookie quarterback, I would say, behind McMullen out of San Francisco. As we have a dual crossers concept. Oh my goodness, another near interception. 2 questionable reads by Rowe. And we are going to see the field goal unit come out. No guarantee in the rain, but Dan looking a little shaky early.
Yeah, I mean, just sometimes it's keep it simple, right? You have the cover 3 look.
Oh, yikes.
Someone's open.
Well, I said it was no guarantee in the rain, and Dan proved me right there. The field goal sails wide left, and yes, 100% right with what you're saying.
Rain, I swear, the kick meter is a little different with weather. It's not like it normally is. There's something to it. I think the game has a program like visuals, whether there's rain or snow, that it like memory leaks into like the kitchen meter or something.
I mean, classic. Yeah, it definitely like moves faster or something. And also, if you miss it by even like a tiny amount, it's gonna just sail in whatever direction you miss it to, which is good. Who do we got in here? Well, it's just Lucky and you right now. That's cool. Lucky's saying that you're quiet. I'll try to fix that after this play. I'll try to boost your audio real quick. But for now, McMullen will come out under center for, I believe, the first time all game, as he, again, has a very complicated route scheme going on, as he will drop back. 4-man rush, takes an immediate shot to where Devin White was, and gets leveled. Let me try to fix your audio real quick.
When you had Steele in here before, it was super low.
Was it?
Like, I could hear you. Yeah. So I don't know if it's the same thing or it's...
Okay, here's what I'm going to do then. We're going to turn the desktop audio up. So that should impact you. We'll see.
Okay.
And then I'll turn this a little bit down to compensate. Later, as McMullen sees the corner blitz and throws into it, but unable to come down with it. 1 for 5 so far. 1 for 7 combined. Both of these rookie quarterbacks so far. Not exactly showing their best stuff on offense, or Lucky or Dan.
Yeah, it's a rain game, and you kind of want to get your quarterback, a couple of easy completions, maybe throw something short or a screen, because right now they're just the balls are just sailing.
Yeah, it's a lot of people do say, I don't know how much credence you give this. A lot of people say, like, give your quarterback check downs, easy reads early, so that then they'll be able to make the deeper passes for you later on, like confidence wise. I subscribe to a little bit. I mean, I certainly think that once you've thrown a couple picks, your quarterback gets less accurate. I guess it's up to you, like, how much you want to bake that into your scheming in the first and second quarter. Thanks, Lucky! Lucky saying it sounds great. But 2nd and 8, a combined 29 offensive yards so far for both teams, all of which have been on the ground for these creamsicle Tampa Bay Bucs, as he will drop back. 4-man rush, has the flats open, goes to it. This is Dalvin Cook with Jukebox. Tries to fight a man off, gets an easy 3rd and 1.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of privy to jukebox and juking and, user tackling in general, because everyone's going to cut inside. So you've seen people kind of get a little sneaky with it and just like slow down and then continue up the field, because people are kind of cutting inside with their users.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can mix a little left stick in, as we see a outside corner user, another shot to coverage, but this time Bishop able to click on, kind of maneuver Bishop back towards the ball, shield off the safety there. The first completion for Rowe, and a first down for the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, that's my play. I ran that before everyone, and cover 2 is the way to stop it, but not like that. There is, I ran it so much, I know it gives it trouble, and it's just not these route combos are something different, but good pocket there by Dan.
Yeah, really nice pocket presence. I was going to say, stepped all the way up, made sure those ends couldn't get in, and hit the intermediate dig concept. Morgan Rowe looking more like his normal self here after a shaky first drive, but approaching the red zone where the field condenses. We'll see if he's able to keep this efficient play up, as Morgan Rowe will just hand it off straight up inside zone. Dalvin Cook with a nice stop. Dalvin Cook with all sorts of room, and he will walk in. Touchdown.
Yeah, no chance there. I mean, he took the user on the strong side on the way the running back was going to. He didn't make a play, and he paid the price. Do you have Lucky's Twitch name? Because you're always like 5 seconds ahead of me.
Oh yeah, so it's Lucky Charms 206.
All right, hopefully no one looks at my search history. Why would you type in Lucky? It's so weird.
It's Merritt. He's going to take it out of the end zone. Jukes him, man. Had a little bit of room, not a lot, as he will take back over, but I'm going to ask you. I mean, we had a lot of NFC playoff talk in my last stream. Obviously, Packers, Seahawks, two NFC playoff users. Lucky and Steele and I kind of chopped it up about the NFC. I want to ask you what your thoughts on the AFC are, being obviously one of the more, I'm not going to say more, one of the most competitive users within the AFC, one of the Super Bowl favorites. I'm just curious, like, any guys you think we should look out for? Like, who do you think? I mean, I know you're going to consider yourself the favorite at all times, but other than you, like, who do you think the favorite is? Just what do you think kind of the storylines are heading into the AFC playoffs?
The AFC is interesting because we've seen the AFC North all play each other a million times. And regardless of if someone's better or worse or anything, if you play someone 3 times in a season, like, you're going to have to dig deep into your bag of tricks. So honestly, I mean, outside of Phil, I think the AFC, anyone can win any sort of game. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I just don't think he's on that level of what everyone else is. So anyone else, like, I could see Austin winning, against anyone or the Bills or whoever. I cannot see Phil making a run. It's just not a thing. So everyone else though, like, yeah, I mean, it's they've all beat each other up. We've all done it. So I'm excited to probably play Dehudi and his awful offense, but it is what it is. He got me last year, so it's time for me to kind of step up and to win.
This is McMullen standing like a statue in the pocket there. Did not see the interior pressure coming in. That's going to be a 3 and out question mark. Now he got a first down, but it's going to be an early punt opportunity here for the Tampa Bay Bucs to potentially bring this back. I've already seen one long punt return, almost breaks another. But I've the AFC playoffs to me, like, and I said it in the last stream, but I think the top tier within the AFC in terms of guys who I see making the Super Bowl are yourself and Little Alex. Then it's the entire AFC North, and then it's Phil and Cook. Like, I think those are kind of the 3 tiers in my opinion, and I guess
I forgot about the Colts. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to rule anyone out at any point. That's a good play there by Dan. But I mean, I played him and he was fine. I'm not gonna put the Connor curse on him and say I didn't see anything special. But I just kind of felt like he was just like a regular dude. So compared to everyone else, no. If he was in the NFC, would he have be up there? Yeah, but the AFC's got a couple killers in it.
All right. No, you're not wrong though. I think Kook, like, yes, he's a regular dude, and he does a really good job of playing within himself, and not making stupid decisions, which, like, sometimes, and in any given Sunday sim league, like, sometimes that's all you need. I'm not saying I see him making the Super Bowl, but, like, if he were to take, like, a quote unquote better user down along the way, it wouldn't shock me necessarily. He's got an interesting kind of like dual running back scheme. Obviously, Anthony Richardson with the mobility, got some nice defensive pieces. I think he's got a shot. Now, does he have a shot at making the Super Bowl? No, but he could do something. He could make some noise in the playoffs.
Honestly, everyone has a shot, right? Think about that. We've especially with this game now, we've seen good defenses stand there. We've seen people win that shouldn't. I mean, I think Tim had a big win. It was either season 1 or this season where I forgot who he played, but like wasn't supposed to win, but still did.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen things like that. So yes, no disrespect to anyone, but anyone can win. It really, I mean, Cook just beat Little Alex. So what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, anything can happen.
Split running back concept here is Morgan Rowe will drop back 4-man rush, has the drag wide open, also has the wheel open, as that is a second one dot and a touchdown. Tampa Bay.
Oh, that pains me. Someone in man coverage taking a user and just standing in the middle of the field doing nothing. It's hard to read that wheel though. That was a great play by Dan. You're not looking at that. You would assume like pressure gets in before 7 seconds, but it didn't happen. And Dan with a 14-0 lead, that was a great play there.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing you pointed out there in terms of taking a user in man coverage, standing in the middle of the field, because we all, and including you, having won the Super Bowl as merit, is gonna take this all the way to the house. Special teams playing it all the, oh my God, Claybooks with the heart, but it does not matter.
And he dives in the end zone. Oh, if I'm Dan, I'm pausing right now. I'm gonna just go, man. You just get a free touchdown. You're gonna die. Like, oh my God, I'm already tilted. And he's doing the long dance. Oh, jeez.
Not no, you showboat, you stop right at the goal line, you dive in, you do all that. We're here for the memes at this point. I'm 6-10. I'm trying to beat Dan. I don't give a damn. Like that's where I'm at. And I'm
Oh
barely never
god.
trying to shout out for the people. But going back to what you were saying about standing in the middle of the field with the user, that's something we've both like lauded Lucky for in the past. Is his ability to really change up who he's using on the field, like kind of mess with your eyes as an offensive user. Because we've seen it in this game too. Like he'll user the outside corner, user safeties. Obviously, sometimes he'll use those middle linebackers, but he does a really good job of changing it up. And I think his user play as a whole on defense is really good. So yeah, that was a bit. That was a bit of an aberration there from Lucky because, yeah, like you said, his user was a non-presence on that play.
He got caught in a weird spot, and by that I mean he had no routes to cover, right? So
Yeah.
the wheel late is again that's a tough play, but there was no one like crossing. His eyes were not looking at that side of the field, if that makes sense. He was watching the guys run away from him, and that's part of what happens as with your user is like if you're covering something, you can watch the routes above and below it, but when you're kind of like in no man's land, that was a tough one.
Yeah, your eyes just got.
Kuba's 10, he's 10-1 in his last 11 games, so let me give him some credit there.
He's hot. He's real hot. As there he takes away the core route, steps in once again, does Morgan Rowe and throws a hot one, but little unlucky maybe with the animation. The wide receiver does not get either foot down. I mean, I'm seeing, and I'm saying this like I'm watching this like analytically because since I might play Dan here pretty soon, like his pocket presence has been A1 today. It's been really good.
Yeah, he's got, probably top 2 or top 3 in the league. This is, I'm not joking when I say Steele actually has pocket presence. But he's one of the few people that actually step up in the pocket. And, I played Dan a few times, and that was a wonderful play. I played Dan a few times, and you got to kind of pressure him up the middle because he's not going to bail, especially if you contain on him. If you contain, he's going to have all day. So
yeah.
That was a great, I wish he caught that because you step up like that, you deserve the completion, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, if you... Yeah, people talk a lot about like edge pressure versus interior pressure, which one's more valuable. For me, in Madden, give me interior pressure all day because you, like you said, cannot allow the quarterback to just step up like that. And we've not seen that. We've seen Lucky's D tackles get bodied. I've seen very few sheds as this game's gone. As I've realized this whole time I've been misidentifying him. That's actually Jared Cook, not Dalvin Cook. So my bad. Not the last time I'll do that. Certainly, as we have an inside zone to Covington, who. I don't even know who that... Oh, is that... Oh, no. Yeah, I don't know who that is. But 1st and 10.
Yeah, and that play, the last play before that out route, there's a 5-man rush, and Dan dropped back and did not even move his feet. So he's very comfortable in the pocket right now. You kind of want to get him off the spot if you're Lucky.
Absolutely. See, presses up with his outside corners here in this Tampa 2 concept, although he... Looks like he manned up both of the outside corners here. He will drop back. Has the corner route open once again. Goes to the corner route. Cook with a little bit of a wiggle to give himself a better rack animation. Hits it. And, after a shaky first drive, Dan's looks pretty much perfect here.
Yeah. And look, it's playing very, 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 like, not disguising that well. I'd like to see him, like, fake user blitz, move someone around, just make it Dan uncomfortable. He's he's just chilling in the pocket.
As Cook will hit the edge and be all alone. Touchdown.
His receiver was blocking a linebacker. Good Lord. That stinks. That would be so mad.
Dan's players have heart that carries over across Madden's, and it's you don't want your linebacker getting bodied there. If you're Lucky, a little upset about that. But also, you've been running full pads this whole season, so maybe they're just gassed. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be anything. It's really tough. If your players are yellow, they really just don't they're just slow. It's one of those things. And I learned that. I feel like I was getting weak boxed a lot. It's because my guys are tired. So if someone's even red on a play, I sub them out for that play. I'm just not even doing it because they're such a liability.
No, you have to, in my opinion, especially if they're on the D line, because if they're red on the D line, they will do fuck all the entire play. Whether you run at them, whether you pass, they're not getting any type of shed. So yeah, you sub them out for a lower rated player as Kamara with a counter to the left. Shout to you, Lucky. I know that was for me, but did not do a lot. And Lucky's in trouble here based on what I'm seeing from Dan.
Yeah, Dan doesn't like to he likes to be in pass defense sets, and if you can't run on that, you're gonna have some trouble. But that's one of the things that I know Dan likes to do. He likes to 3-3-5. He likes those. Very he'll rush 3 and just make you make a read. if you can't run on that, then you're gonna have an issue against him. But that's one of the things I know playing him is just, I like to pass every play, so it's annoying playing him because I'm like, all right, fine, I'll run. Okay, fine, I'll run. So
Sure, I
it's
guess. Yeah.
something for you to note that those draws work really well. Those like certain types of runs. But that's when Dan's cooking. He's gonna rush his three and just make you beat him somewhere on the field, find the open spot.
Listen, I'll definitely run the ball. Don't worry. Will I do it well? Debatable, but I will run the ball as we have a first and 10. He sends heat for the first times. Ooh, that was a great user, but just didn't. Maybe undercut it a little bit. I don't know. Like, do you think Dan got hosed there, or what happened?
Yeah, it's a game we play ever since all the sim crybabies wanted realistic Madden.
Oh wow. I mean, you're talking to one of the sim crybabies right now. Wow, that's crazy.
You can't cover a post and a drag at the same time, which that never actually happened. And now they just nerfed the game to oblivion, and Dan got screwed because of everybody. Twice.
You're damn right. I can't cover a post and a drag at the same time. I need to have my handheld. Damn it, you know this.
It's just so. Understandably so, the old user of covering a post and then running 8,000 miles per hour. But the thing is, they make the user, regardless of your speed or change your direction, the defense is just slower than the offense for whatever reason. It's just it's very odd.
It is really weird, yeah. And I do know in earlier Maddens, if you put your user on a blitz, it would make their change of direction a lot better for some reason, as a user. Do you know, is that still the case? Or, because, I mean, you're right, I definitely see my...
No, the thing now is if you bring your user up to the line of scrimmage and he has the bars above his head as a pass rusher, it counts as the offensive line counts as a rusher.
Shout out Alex.
So it'll be so if you're rushing 3 and you bring that guy, there's a time clock. And that's if you ever looked at the ability protected, it's it grants you X amount of more time. So if it's a 3-man rush, you have X amount of time. If it's a 4-man rush, X amount of time, 5-man, blah, blah, blah. Right? Then you base on if you run that play there, slants. Slants is a 3-step drop. So they're going to disengage quicker depending on the play you run. So it's a lot of things that go into it, but yeah. But yeah. So it's weird how the game is programmed. It's very not fluid. It's just a bunch of numbers meshing and going against each other.
Well, welcome to Madden School with Warren, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all taking notes. I did not know most of that, so that's all definitely good to know. This is a common play. A lot of people run. Cross drag out a gun, intercepted by Perryman, and this will not be a pick six. And I meant to say pistol, I'm sorry. But we've seen, maybe that's a ball don't lie situation. Saw a couple throws before that should have been a pick, and that one finally is, as Tampa Bay gets the ball back.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many people throw that route from that play. Usually it's a double drag, so the deeper cross. That was weird.
Moreau drops back once again, steps up really nicely, and despite I don't know what the X factor is, but despite it being lit up, unable to come down with it is the DB lays the lumber there. But yeah, I mean, what I'm learning from this game is, find a way to get pressure against Morgan Rowe, because he will step up. Baker Lifestyle 4 verts as he ends up dumping it down. Cook able to come down with it. Call timeout here for New Orleans.
He blitzed the corner. Dan had one less second to throw it, and it should have been a knockout. I don't know how it was a completion, but it was a good defensive play.
I'm very surprised that Lucky didn't call timeout here. Very surprised. Down multiple possessions, you kind of gotta just... You got to expand the range of outcomes here. Even if you call a timeout and then Dan ends up converting this and, it kind of screws you later, it's looking like a game where you need to maximize your opportunities. There we go. Would have liked that extra time now as he gets the sack. Finally, the interior pressure comes through. And now, for the first time, Tampa Bay forced to punt the ball.
Yeah. Dan could have ran that out, but I think Dan kind of felt like he's going to get the first down and he wanted more time to go down the field. And I respect that. I do the same thing. I said, I don't care if it's 1 second, we're going.
Yeah, for sure. 14 seconds, 2 timeouts. Unless we see a really nice read out of Lucky here, this is going to end 21-7 at halftime. I think. I always forget who's going to get the ball after the half. I'm not even going to try to think about who it is, but I'm just going to ask you, from Dan's perspective, since his season's still alive, how impressed are you by what you've seen so far?
I think Dan's played good. I mean, you want to go into the playoffs with with momentum. you want to beat the dog piss at anyone you're playing, and that's kind of where he's at. If you sneak in or you barely get in or you lose your last game and you make the playoffs, it's very tough. You want to
Yeah.
kind of be confident, and I think Dan's going to bring that confidence into the playoffs.
He absolutely will. 4-man rush once again goes to a corner route. Olave unable. Wait, that was weird. Did he just? Well, regardless, it was an incomplete pass. Looked like it was complete for a second, but yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. You definitely want to have that basic confidence in your scheme, have that confidence in yourself going into the playoffs, especially in a wild card game where like potentially things could get away from you quickly if you aren't locked in from the jump. So we shall see here as he sends 5. Interesting, as he had the wheel open that entire time, instead throws it right to the user Merriweather, as that actually won't end the first half. It effectively ends the first half, but that's the read of someone who isn't playing at his peak right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that play in general, like the read is pretty much like the slot streak, and then like the wheel. That tight end is not going to get you a touchdown. It's just like a waste. If you're going to just turn it over, I would say just bomb it, screw it, right? Throw one-on-one to a lot, do something like that.
See if you can get a goofy pass interference, or just try to.
I had one against Bozy. He threw a one-on-one, and like I clicked on and I swatted and I had PI.
It's so lame. I swear, because it's happening so much more now than it did like seemingly in the first season. I don't know what happened, but yeah, like you graze the wide receiver and they're calling pass interference. It's super weird.
But you can literally hit a guy on a route and nothing. But like it's very weird. So I don't know if you've noticed this. If you like swat curls, it's PI all the time. Like they go over their back.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times. Yeah.
I don't. No one really throws curls outside of Austin, but it's super annoying.
Yeah, I mean, it effectively, like, against man coverage, it effectively makes the curl unguardable, like, if they're going to call that. Not really sure what you're supposed to do, but I guess the user at 1st and 10 as we have an RPO, tried to use the outside corner to take it away, was not able to, and Cook, after a couple jukes, able to get the first down.
That's so frustrating because Lucky picked the right play, had the right user, but just couldn't get there, and that's just, again, that's this game in a nutshell, right? You're like, I know what I wanted to do, but I'm like limited. So it's, a good try.
Yeah.
I've done that a bunch of times where, you'll jump the RPO and like, you'll just get, it's hard to pick it. You'll jump it, but you won't get the interception, or it'll just the ball like morph through you. And it's just like, it's very, very frustrating. Because I mean, this is the game we're playing is like RPO simulator at this point. So especially in the red zone, like everyone is just RPO. So you kind of want to get rewarded if you know what they're doing, but it's tough.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very easy. Every guy blocks. Morgan Rowe will once again step up and take another shot, risky one, and unable to come down with it again. That pocket presence is top tier. That time, maybe bit off a little more he could chew, but fell harmlessly to the ground. We'll see a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that was a great user by Lucky on defense, too. He had the crosser with him, and followed him, made Dan, throw a questionable read.
And as we have a slip screen, and Lucky reads it but not able to get to it. Luckily, not too much damage as Cook gets tackled after only a gain of 1. 3rd and 9, and I mean, already in field goal range. We've seen him miss a field goal already, but if Lucky wants any chance of this game, need to stop right now.
Gun Eagle trips gives me nightmares. I hate this formation because it's that dude on the inside running a streak every time, and my brain just can't like figure it out. I know it's coming, and I feel like, I don't know.
That Packer smash play of you've got an inside vert and then a corner. I run that quite a bit on offense, and it's tough to take away as we have some really good usering, honestly, and bodies Ratcliffe to prevent a potential first down. 4th and 7, we will see the field goal unit come out, and we'll see if he can actually make the kick this time.
Maybe Lucky hit the smelling salts because he's playing much better now. His defense is looking really good. I mean, that was a great user. Like, literally, like, Dan set up 8,000 hot routes, and Lucky's like, yeah, I don't care.
Oh, as we have a fake field goal. He has a man open. Instead, McLaughlin going to take off. Why not throw the ball there? What happened? He had both guys open.
Is he a righty? Like, was he throwing across his body?
What in the world? I know what my question is for Dan after the game.
Oh, man, that was something.
My goodness. He had it. I don't know what happened there. As we have a stretch, just horrible blocking there on the exterior. And Alvin Kamara, jukebox Alvin Kamara, only 18 yards in the 3rd quarter. That is not the recipe against a user, like you said, who sometimes struggles against the run. And Dan,
That's absolutely insane. He's in like nickel 2-4-5, and that's DT gets in. Like literally, if I'm in 2-4-5, it's a 90-yard touchdown against me. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
Drag route open, continues to be open, and McMullen sails it, which, again, that'll happen after a couple picks.
Yeah, he passed on that up too, trying to lead him up the field. So that's probably why I don't think he's
fair.
At that threshold plus the rain plus everything.
I might consider running the ball against this front, but he does not. Instead, McMullen's going to drop back quick. Corner runner hits it. Jawan Johnson, the veteran tight end, who's always a solid weapon in Madden, in my opinion. Just a big body to throw to. Able to get the first down, and that keeps Lucky's chances going here.
How do you not have a better tight end at this point? Like, he's like Gerald Everett. He's just like a generic dude.
As Kamara, he had room, but he juked inside, and sometimes people with jukebox get a little too juke happy. If he literally just holds the left stick up, that's a touchdown. That's tough.
Yeah, that's a juke outside scenario too. I don't know where he was going, but
yeah. 1st and 10 as he will drop back as the pressure, I think 6-man rush, yes it was, an all-out blitz there by the Bucs, and it will send Lucky back into 2nd and 20.
He blitzed everyone, and he stood there with his user. Everyone was open. That was just great timing by Dan. Like literally, great timing.
The blitz got through so quick. It's tough to, even with everyone open, it's tough to recognize that in time. As we have a handoff 2nd and 20, and the one time, that wasn't a run commit, but Dan really crowded the box there. Is cursed with the tackle. Now 3rd and a mile.
And Dan's he's comfortable in this formation. Look, he's going to rush 3 guys, and he's going to chill and make a mistake.
Take away Lucky's primary read and say what else he got. Primary read probably being whatever Olave's doing, if I had to guess on that deep
I like
post.
looking at people's route combos. Some of this stuff's wild.
As it is a 5-man rush, sends heat again as we have a wheel, and again, McMullen sells.
Yeah, no, he threw it too early. Honestly, the pressure, he had time. If he waited, he threw it at the cut of the wheel. If he waited another second.
Oh my god, that got me so much Madden 22. It's I didn't figure out the timing of the wheel until that's a miss and a half. Jeez!
You're right. That wasn't that bad of a miss, and that went super wide.
Right.
Ugh. Yeah, the wheel timing is definitely something you got to get used to. But I mean, he had the right idea. Just had to wait a second.
Dan actually, I think, had to teach me how to time the wheel because I was like, what the fuck? I can't complete any of these. And it turns out it was user error. Morgan Rowe, once again, drops back good using the, I was about to say good pocket. User was decent too, not able to get over there in time. Morgan Rowe looking really solid, and at this point, I'm praying for an injury. Bounty system time, Lucky, let's get it.
I went into my last game against trying to get no injuries, and literally my rookie DT, Keenan Allen, I think Joey Bosa got hurt at some point.
Oh, look at this. Look at this play out of Morgan Rowe, who sheds a tackle, looking like Tim Tebow in his prime.
You can't contain. You just can't contain. I mean, I would just crash down. But yeah, I was trying to make sure no one on my team got hurt and everyone was out for the game. It's just one of those make it out alive, and we barely made it. When you get out of the game menu and you're like, I hope I don't see new injury, and luckily everyone healed miraculously.
It's torn ACL, and I was like, it was only a game injury. Nice cut back. Oh my goodness, a succulent juke by Cook and a touchdown.
Yeah, Dan's user's looking back where it was last Madden. I think if he just avoids the interceptions, because sometimes he makes questionable reads, but overall, if he plays like this, he can beat or hang with anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
but at the same time, you're not going to run cover 3 out of 3-4 against 4 wide. So it's just it's hard to really understand what I'm looking at.
Well, that's why we want both of these guys in the booth after the game, so we can ask them those sort of questions. But I was saying, I'll kind of do a little mea culpa here. I was saying a lot in the chat and in the last game stream that obviously Alan and I would much rather play Dan than Morty Hero. Maybe not. I mean, Dan's looking really, really solid today. Like you said, sometimes he is prone to making those decisions, like or making those bad decisions on a down basis. But I mean, this is one of the better games I've seen from Dan all cycle. Which obviously that's a limited sample size; he's only played one season, but it's very impressive. As we have, I mean, McMullen's starting to look. This will get bad here for the Rook.
I'm not trying to be like, oh, like over the top with this, but he threw it too early. Like again. So like for everyone who's always like, oh, this guy's sold, or this guy and steal, oh, Will Levis sold. Like, no, like it's right out of the cut's a tough throw. You know, I mean, could he complete it? Of course, but he didn't for a reason. And yeah, there's pressure in your face and there's rain, but still, like if Lucky just slows it down like half a second, he's got it. He's making the right reads.
See, will take a shot right into coverage. Good timing there, as that is intercepted by Curse, who will fall forward, and I might take my starters out at this point if I'm Dan. Like, this game's over in my opinion. Just live to see another day, unless he's trying to like dev someone. But yeah,
with the weather, I don't trust anyone not like breaking their whole body.
42-week injury. I mean, we saw Jalen Hurts, I think, last year, week 18. He got like a 40-week injury right when Jesse was about to make the playoffs. But
I would just cry.
May will drop back again. Steps up, is that might be an illegal forward pass. I mean, usually it just by like half a yard. That's tough.
I think Dan got Skimbo to play for him because there's no one stepping up like that. Like, what am I watching? Like, I'm not. He did like the Fiverr or whatever that thing is, where like like you pay people to do whatever. But it's really impressive by Dan there, except for that.
As Rowe will throw out a sack, intercepted by C.J. Mosley, who pitches it, and then McCullers picks it up. It's meme season out here on Better League Network.
But back to the last play, that pocket presence by Dan was literally top notch, and that's something you play him, you got to pick up on that. That he's gonna you rush 3 or 4.
Woo, again. Morgan Rose steps up. I mean, because he got the sheds there, that didn't matter because Morgan Rose just stepped up perfectly. And ladies, and I mean, I don't need to know who's in here, but ladies and gentlemen, put your fours in the chat. Yeah, no, this is scary. What Morgan Rose is looking like right now, it's pretty scary. Again, we've seen a couple shaky reads, but the pocket presence has been top-notch, and it continues to be top-notch, although he drops back and ends up going down. Akeem Hicks finally gets a shed and gets his first sack.
What in the offensive line is going on? Because there's no one getting in. Like, there's no one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, it's not like, I mean, Lucky's rushing 4 most plays. It's not like he's rushing 3. Like, it's just been crazy pockets that Dan's getting. And the D-line, Lucky's going to have to educate me on this. I don't think his D-line's that bad, as he will take away the user this time. Double spy finally sends one of them. Good pocket presence again, but horrible throw intercepted by Love. And will this be a pick 6? Not with that cut. We're starting to see both offenses fall off the cliff a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, who knew the double spy was the right defensive call? And that's, hey, you know what? You might have the best blitz, or you might have the best, zone drop. So sometimes you just got to play like an idiot and you get the ball. It's a great play.
Power-O out of Pistol Kamara. Once again, I think that's a CFM fumble. I'm not going to get too. Oh, I'm cutting 51. Okay, he ended up recovering it. But did you see the way he just stood there for like 2 seconds?
I thought it was going to be one of those kicking things where like it gets memed and it goes on Instagram and TikTok. Where they just kick the ball for like 10 minutes.
Oh, man. No, it wasn't a CFM fumble. No review on that. So, Lucky almost getting hoed, but he will take it here. 4-man rush. Seam shot as it just gets through. Johnson able to take it almost to midfield.
Do you take, speaking like the pressure and things like that, do you change up your defensive line when it comes to like the blocker resistance at all?
I don't, but I should.
Because that's everybody.
Every play, yeah, I respect that.
Everyone's like, yeah, but it's a lot to,
Listen, like I said, I need my hand held in these Madden games. Like, I'm just trying not to fuck up. I don't have the brain capacity to be subbing out all of my D linemen after every snap.
If you could like baby pause, and by baby pause I mean like not actually pause the game, but let me just go into my depth chart, but not slow down the game at all. I would love that. Because to go into each defensive formation and to be, all right, change out these 2 and change out these 2, it just gets like it's too much.
I mean, the old NCAA games from 10 years ago, like you could put all your 2s in just with your right stick. Like, I don't understand why Madden in 2024, or 2023, you still can't do that. It's super weird.
Yeah.
And you could do it by position group too, I remember, so it's really weird.
Oh, that's good. Maybe I have to mess around with the player. I don't know. What am I looking for? What is the word? Like the player swaps, like the formation
Oh,
audibles? Like
the
player-
formation. Yeah.
But the thing is, there's like 100 of them for each formation. So like, it's gonna be like SS at corner, SS at free safety. It's like, geez.
One thing I will say that I have set up is in my custom, like my pre-game custom audibles, I do have like different defensive linemen in different formations, like just to kind of help myself out that way. But I mean, yeah, that's still nowhere near what you were describing, like subbing them out, every snap.
That's smart. But the game doesn't. There's no issues with that. Like it's a custom or no?
It's a custom. I haven't had issues with that. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe you would watch my gameplay and be like, oh, like this, X, Y, and Z are wrong, but it seems like it's been fine so far.
Well, that's good to know, though.
Yeah. Nah, it definitely helps. Interesting read. Butt Carpenter went behind Jawan Johnson there. It's been,
there's no way. There's no way I talk trash about Jawan Johnson. Now he's the focal point of the offense. I'm like, I can't do this, man. Like, Lucky's just being a turd because there's no way.
No, Jawan Johnson's him. Lucky, I need nothing but Jawan Johnson targets from here on out.
You don't even have to ask. He's already doing it.
Oh, man.
So funny. God bless.
Tampa Bay is going to win this game. Obviously, they already had the 4 seed secured. They're going to, I guess, further secure it. It will be either myself or Allen that ends up playing. Whoa, my God. Some of these throws. I don't know.
Yeah. The rain is not helping him. Do you take notice on like when it comes to like the training boosts too in game? Like the perf, like the formations that have you get like the boost on each play or whatever? I don't know if I'm explaining that.
Like when you, oh my God, intercepted by Antoine Winfield. So you're saying, like, let's say I do defend inside run, and then it's like all of the plays that.
Yeah.
I mean,
like game plan play. That's right there. I'm looking at. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
So that means. So my question for you is that, so in training, if you get +3 block shed, is that on the entire game, or is that only when you run the game plan plays?
I'm pretty sure it's only. I mean, unless EA just like fucked up, which very possible. But I mean,
do you think they can code that? Do you think they can't even make the game without a car on the field?
I mean,
they're gonna like.
I don't have a ton of confidence in it, but that's what it's supposed to be at the very least. I don't know. In actuality, what it's like.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that like it's just like minor details that. It's important because I'm going to play in the playoffs people who are running the ball. So I'm going to pick my block shed, and then I need to know what plays are viable for what formations, things like that. So if I get that boost, it's a help. But stopping like Nick Chubb 100 times is just awful. So it is.
Don't I know it? Don't I know it?
It really is. I don't know.
I mean,
how the hell Brees Hall have like 8,000 yards? Like I haven't watched one game because I'm just not going to subject myself to that. But like you see the stat line, and like the quarterback passing is like 6 for like 13, and then just the rushing is like 300 yards.
I think people just don't go into games against Matt with a we're gonna have not a safety, but I don't think guys go into games against Matt with like a clear enough game plan and a preset game plan in terms of like shut down the run at all costs and make Zach Wilson beat you, because I don't I've watched some Matt games. I played against Matt just a couple days ago. Like, yes, he's a good runner. I'm not trying to take away from him. You don't get to 3,000 yards by accident, right? But it's also like it's a lot of volume, and he'll miss holes sometimes. Like, I don't see him as like, oh, he's the best runner in the league, and that's why he's leading by almost 1,000 yards compared to the next guy. I think guys just like let themselves get victimized by jukebox.
That's true. Also, I mean, if you're up by like 30 points and he's still running it, you're kind of like just, all right, fine, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a big proponent of that. Like once I get a lead, like I'm literally sitting in cover 4, 3-man rush, and just knock yourself out. That's it.
Yeah, you can come out in dime and dollar and they say, waste your time with inside zones. Like that doesn't impact my ability to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean,
so wait, let me ask you, what's your mindset going into the playoffs? Because I mean, we played when the game first dropped, and you beat me, and you talked about it for about 2 weeks. So after that game,
and I'll do it all over again next time we play if I beat you. That's a promise.
you had a colossal downfall where you just kept losing, right? So now you find yourself in like, all right, season 2, things are a little bit different. Like, what changed for you? Give me, you can do the Cliff Notes version of the off season to now. Like, what changed to make you a playoff team?
So this might come off as delusional, but I genuinely mean this. I don't think I'm playing that much better this season than I did last season. I lost a ton of close games last season, like a ton of one possession games where like I blew it like through game management, through like, maybe a bad read on a potential game winning drive. Like I was keeping it close against a lot of guys, and I know like I don't do the moral victory thing. Like I don't. A close loss is a loss. I'm not trying to like pat myself on the back for that, but like it's not like I was getting blown out by good users. Like I was there, and then I would, make one or two bad decisions to kind of like decide the game. One thing I will say, I do think my defense, like, and this is, I guess, a whole half of the game, so I'm going to contradict myself, but I've gotten quite a bit better on defense. I think that's been the main determining factor, because on offense, like, I am what I am. I'm going to make bad reads in the passing game. Sometimes I'll be able to lock in for a game at a time, but I'm a mediocre passing user and a pretty good running user, most of the time.
What is your quarterback situation? What am I looking at?
Russell Wilson. It was Daniel Jones. He pissed me off. Yeah. But yeah. What's yours, actually? Is it... Who is your quarterback? I'm just realizing I don't know that.
I'm the Chargers. I mean, nothing's changed.
Okay, gotcha. Well, shout out Justin Herbert. We will go now as the Buccaneers able to secure a 3-possession victory on the last game of the season, as both guys are in here. Dan, I have a lot of questions for you, and they're not about Madden, but I will first open up with a Madden question and ask you what your thoughts are on the game in this regular season as you find yourself, as the 4 seed.
Yeah, good game to Lucky. We always have fun, interesting games. And thank you for commenting. I mean, a meaningless game in terms of everything. But, it's fun. I mean, it rained, which means it's going to be sloppy a little bit. I mean, Marlon McMullen definitely showed that, making some real bad throws. But as far as, like, my team and me, and I've been playing very sloppy the past couple weeks. I haven't been playing good. I didn't feel like a playoff team for many of the games. So I felt like this is a good opportunity to start fresh, get some things together, and actually like play a full game, a full complete game. And I felt like I did that. Just gained a lot of confidence on offense, on defense. Definitely made some stupid mistakes along the way, but that comes with the territory. But overall, good game.
One point that Warren brought up that I think was very apt was, with what happened last season, you unfortunately were only able to play one game the entire season. You're starting very much on the back foot compared to the rest of the league. I mean, this is your first full season, compared to the rest of us who already got that first full season under our belt last year. So I guess my question for you is, like, over the course of the season, I mean, obviously, you won the division over the defending champs, so it's like you've obviously kind of acquitted yourself pretty well. But what was the learning process like for you, especially with the rookie quarterback? Like, do you think you've been on an upward trend in terms of your confidence compared to early on in the season, or has it just been like you kind of hit the ground running and you went from there?
Yeah, I mean, like, see, week 1, like, I had just gotten everything set up by draft time. And like week 1, I had just made a makeshift playbook, and I had nothing but rookies on the team. So like rookie QB, 75 overall rookie was my best receiver, and it continues to be my best receiver on the team. So I played Alex, just got completely mauled by his defense. And I felt like it's just going to be a long way until I can be competitive against like really good users and really good teams. So I just, went through the process, had a tough, first 4 weeks. I played Warren week 4. That was a little bit miserable, but it continued to improve throughout the year. But I've been personally went into a little slump past couple weeks. I got blown up by Ben. Didn't feel confident, but I felt like I could bring it back together, and I feel like tonight was a good opportunity.
Beautiful. Warren, what do you got?
Yeah, so I have 2 things for you, Dan. One is I'm looking at the picture, the player models for Avery McCullers and Markel Cook, who are both your rookie receivers. Are they identical twins with different last names?
Yeah. On draft night, someone pointed that out to me, and I almost changed it. I almost edited the name, and someone said, "You know what? Let them be twins." So I said, "Yeah, let's just roll it."
That's all of a love story. They both, they were both adopted different families, and they both made that all in the same draft into the same team. One of the things I wanted to point out was Connor and I spoke about it. Pretty much the entire game was your pocket presence, and it's honestly unparalleled to most people in the league. There's maybe one or two other people that understand stepping up in the pocket instead of rolling out into a defensive end. Take us through. Does your pocket ability change your route concepts? You'll have more time. What are you looking for, and how does that affect your actual gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, that is actually the one thing I felt like I needed to improve on heading into the cycle. So what happened to me really let me reinvent my game a little bit, as corny as that sounds. But that was the number one thing I felt like I could start off fresh with, is just if you just go in there, I had the goal actually of saying, you know what, let me be the best pocket person in the league. Let's just be the best in the pocket. And it's not perfect. I think I take the most sacks in the league. I just hold on to the ball too long too, and I step up. Sometimes I step up into the DT, but I try to never roll out. And sometimes I even step up too far. I think I had 2 illegal forward passes today. I mean, that just comes with stepping up. But I think it definitely opens up some routes, especially the corner routes and stuff. When you wait on them, and it's a big part of the game. I think a lot of people, if they improve their pocket presence, they'll win more games.
100%. And I have you to thank. I don't know if you remember, but way back in Men 21, you said, Connor, work on your pocket, because it cost me a game. Austin beat me, but it got me a game against Austin. And you said, here are a couple things I like to do. And I have you to thank for my improved pocket presence compared to then. So thank you. Lucky, a couple questions for you, obviously. One from me. Your division, I think, is really interesting, because obviously, Dan's coming on pretty strong. Obviously, didn't have a perfect regular season, but he found himself in the playoffs, only one season into his own personal Madden 24 career. Ben fell off a little bit, but you have to think, with some retooling of the team, he'll be back, if not to Super Bowl contention, then he'll be back to, solid playoff status. Tim, fell off. I don't know what's up there, but Tim is definitely an Any Given Sunday user, beat Dan once, tied Dan the other time. So I'm curious, how, I'm not really trying to phrase this, where do you see yourself? Well, I mean, not really, but where do you see yourself in terms of your ability to compete within this division right now? And then, if it is an issue of getting good, what do you need to improve on in order to reach the level of guys like Dan and Ben, I guess?
So I'll say, I do still think I can be an Any Given Sunday kind of user. I still go into every game expecting to compete. But I can't really deny at this point that this cycle has been difficult for me. I'm not somebody, I was there the whole stream, so I listen to guys like Warren, and he'll say things like, yeah, you can't contain, you got to pinch there. And in my mind, I'm like, what? How am I supposed to know that? What? There's these things about the game that seem like inherent knowledge to some people that I just don't grasp. That's not really how I view it. I don't know the game on that meta level. And I've, generally speaking, played Madden the exact same way for 5 cycles. I really haven't changed my play style that much. I'll notice big things don't work or do work a little bit, out routes work this Madden, or I can't do streaks anymore, or stuff like that. But I'm not very good on the smaller level and tweaking things. And that doesn't bode well for me in a Madden where everybody else has figured out offense and I haven't really. And my defense, I used to be able to rely on keeping me in games, but I'm not sure what I need to tweak there. Because some days, like today, granted, I was missing my X Factor D tackle, and I was missing a superstar outside linebacker. So the front 7 was kind of going to struggle from the start. But you guys saw it. Dan had great pocket presence, but I wasn't getting much push regardless.
Yeah.
there was a play where he literally just stood in the backfield with only one receiver out there, and then just stood there for about 10 seconds before breaking a tackle and getting 8 yards with Morgan Rowe. It was just kind of it was a tough day in the trenches for me, and that's kind of how my defense has always been in the past with Madden. That I rely on having a good user and taking away first reads, and then hoping that's enough time for either the QB to make a mistake or my pass rush to get there. And that hasn't worked this Madden. This Madden is the types of things that work in this game don't play to my strengths on defense or offense. So I'm still kind of trying to figure out where I go from here. I still enjoy the team building, obviously, but as far as gameplay, I don't know what's going to change. I think this is just a Madden I might struggle with.
A super basic question for me. How would you evaluate McMullen's rookie season? And, do you have faith in him as the cornerstone quarterback for the Saints?
Absolutely, I do. This game was absolutely not indicative of how he has played the majority of the season. He is inconsistent at times, but this was one of the worst. This was probably the worst game he ever had the entire season. The rain was awful. Dan was getting good pressure. The amount of times that what should be a relatively easy pass sailed, that was tough. Marlon McMullen is really good. Honestly, I love his throwing animation. That's helped a lot. No, there's no QB situation in New Orleans. He's our QB.
Yeah. Nor do I expect there to be. Warren, what do you got for Lucky?
Well, first off, Lucky, thanks for always correcting me in the admin chat. It's really helpful. One of the things that's really stood out to me was just when you watch someone play, like when you actually sit and watch start to finish, not like, oh, I have the game on in the background, or I check the highlight. Like watching you play, and then I'm on Neon right now looking at your stats, right? Your last in pass defensive yards, your first in rush defense yards, right? Your offense, like, just not great, right? Watching you play defense, you know what the offense is doing. How in God's name are you 32nd in pass yards allowed? You understand you have to give yourself some credit, because a couple of times there was a couple RPOs. There was, one play where you covered a beautiful crosser and you made Dan throw a bad pass. There was like all these like things where like, I'm like, oh, he's reading the field very well on defense. Is there something like why it didn't translate? I know that the Saints cap situation is awful and the team's old and they stink. And that, honestly, that plays a big role in it. So, like, has the team kind of held you back a little bit? And, like, is there any merit to what I'm saying with that? Or you just, made good reads when I was watching?
No, I get where you're coming from. I think I've always characterized myself as somebody who's really good at reading routes post-snap on defense. I feel like I personally have a pretty good sense of, like, the way all receivers move in the first half second of a play. I have a pretty good sense of who's going to be in my area. And I like to think I'm pretty good at putting my user in that area. But it kind of comes back to I haven't really adapted to the new Madden. I'm a pretty conservative defensive play caller. I don't like to gamble too much as far as like blitzing goes, because in the past, the way it's always worked for me is if I play bend but don't break defense, more often than not in the past, I can eventually force the user into a mistake, and I can get that interception, or I can get that one like sack that pushes them back into 2nd and 18 that makes the rest of the drive difficult and they have to punt. And that's generally worked for me in the past. I feel like I've been a top half defensive user for the most part over the years. But this year, the way that these zones are working, there's always a hole. Like, there's always a hole. Somebody's always getting open somewhere. Is how it's felt the entire cycle for me this net. And it absolutely comes down to I have to find a different way to play defense, which is annoying. I don't like change. But I think it's more of that. I think it's more that my style of play only works if zones work well. And they don't.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's one of the things where I made a comment during the game. I was like, everything you're doing on defense is extremely basic, right? It looks like cover 2, it is cover 2. It looks like cover 3, it is cover 3. And that's, like you just said, that's how you play. And that's perfectly fine. And it's to what you also said was like, defense is in such a weird spot where, like, if you have time, especially with Dan's pocket presence, and you're in any sort of zone, someone is open. So it's like that tough area of like, how do I play defense? I think everyone's going through it where we're all trying to figure out, I feel like you could play the perfect defense and then, you just a broken tackle and he's gone. It's like one juke gone, one-on-one catch breaks the tackle after the catch. You're like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not even like, you're not even like trying to like make a crazy hit stick. And that's where we're at, I think, in this game. And it's probably part of the adjusting period. But, I think you played a good game, regardless if the game mattered or didn't for you. It was cool to kind of, watch both you and Dan play and kind of see, your styles and things like that and pick up on what you guys excel at.
I do really quick want to make sure that Juwan Johnson gets his respect. Juwan Johnson actually, I think, ended up being my leading receiver this year. I spread the ball around a little, but he got like 1,000 yards and 10 TDs, I think.
Dude, I was like, why is this guy getting the ball? And then I was thinking about the just the team and just like the Saints are the hardest team for the past two Maddens, I think, team-wise to build because of the age and because of the salaries. Derek Carr not helping and things like that. So like, it's not like, oh, you're going to have all this influx of picks and all these young guys and guys you traded for. It's like, it's going to take a year or two to get out of the hole. So I think going into next season, you'll definitely be on the upswing with that.
Yeah, no, I definitely like where the team's at as far as team building. I think pretty much all the trades I made in the beginning, the overall things are coming out pretty strong.
Dan, I have one more question for you, and we know what this is going to be about, of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you've got a lot, of soy boys in the chat, like Connor Rice, complaining about FSU not making the playoffs. You've got, you've got the college football subreddit acting like someone died, acting like there was a national tragedy with the fact that those Alabama Crimson Tide made it. I just want to know, because I'm not going to turn this into an argument. I think I've said my piece enough in the college football chat. So, what is your message as the original, Bama lover, the guy who's advocating for that out of the way? What's your message to me and to the rest of the haters who think that this was a travesty?
I'll say this: every time the 4 seed has been a huge point of contention. And something controversial happened with the committee. And I think the committee has done the right thing in almost every scenario. Every time the 4 seed gets put in, Ohio State in 2014, Bama in 2017, maybe another one I'm not thinking about, they win the national championship. And I think you're going to see that with Bama. They're going to prove that they are a great team. And that's just how I feel. I don't know.
Fair enough. The results will get borne out on the field. So, like, if Alabama comes in there, they smack Michigan, and they, hopefully don't smack UW. Christ, that'll be depressing. But if they come in and they prove themselves, then I'll acquiesce to you. I still think this is bullshit, but it's okay. We move. Dan, congrats on a win. Congrats on securing the 4 seed, and I hope to see you on the field, man. There's a chance that it'll be me coming up to Raymond James Stadium. So, hope to see you there, man.
Yeah. Sure thing. Either you or Alan. It'll be a fun game. Can't wait.
Yes, sir. All right. Warren, I should have said, sorry. Appreciate you joining. And do you have anything else you'd like to say about this game or about anything you want to talk about before we wrap things up?
No, I'm watching Austin Doherty from before, and man, there was so many RPOs. My eyes are going to bleed.
Lord.
I can't. Yeah, I'm already tilted pregame, and we're not even in the playoffs.
Well, RPOs.
That's all I got for now.
RPO Simulator 24 is what you called it. We shall see. Thank you all so much for joining. I'll be honest, y'all. In terms of the chat, it was lucky, and that was it. This was not one of our. This was not one of our more. Not one of our better viewed games, I'll say. But I appreciate y'all, regardless, and I appreciate, of course.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for.
Thank you, Lucky. I love you.
We all appreciate it.